If they're in court doing all the right things, they're not here illegally. That's just what it is. They're literally taking people from the courts.
This is for educational and entertainment purposes only.
Hello, and welcome to the Think Tank, where we use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, and just a pinch of common sense to draw unbiased and logical conclusions. Today, we're here to discuss a big W in the courts for the Trump administration when it comes to immigration. I am going to tell one part of the story, and my counterpart, the Honorable Dion Powell, will defend and exonerate Donald Trump, and we'll draw our conclusions based on data points. If the kind of content you like to consume is critical thinking, you're in the right spot. Click that subscribe button, and you're going to hit it from the very best. And with no further ado, the Honorable Dion Powell.
Hey, family. I'm District Leader Dion Powell of the Bronx Conservative Party, 80-20 Trumpster, America First, borderline America only kind of MAGA guy. And I'm a strategist, consultant, and community leader here. So let's get into it, I guess.
So, Donald Trump has won a huge case in the Fifth Circuit Court, I believe. And this is a very right-leaning, possibly the most right-leaning conservative court in the country. I hear there's one that might be further right-leaning, but I mean, this is pretty conservative. And the opinion that was upheld was, I want to get it right, undocumented immigrants can be held without bond. So this means that ICE can pick you up off the street, throw you in jail, and you can't be bailed out. What does this mean for you, Dion, as a Trump supporter?
Well, I always like to go to Ground News, and we have this wonderful feature. If you are one of our partners and use our discount, call bias comparison. And this is what the AI analyzes all this information from all these wonderful big name media outlets, from left, center, and right. All right. According to this major announcement, appeals court endorses Trump policy of holding many ICE detainees without bond hearings. But let's see what the bias comparison says at Ground News. Left-leaning outlets frame the court's 2-1 decision as awful news and as a serious blow to due process for undocumented immigrants, employing terms like jailing to invoke sympathy and highlight the policy's impact on those without criminal records. Conversely, the right-leaning coverage celebrates a big win for Trump and a significant blow against activist judges. Uses phrases like illegal immigrants and fast-track removals to convey triumph and emphasize enforcement. However, center-leaning reports neutrally present the major legal victory while labeling the court conservative. While all perspectives agree on the rule upholding the detention policy, their narratives sharply divide over judicial overreach versus human rights, revealing deep ideological rifts on immigration and the role of the judiciary. So that's why, as we used to say in media, you have to view this through a certain lens. And we here at the think tank use a lens of the Ground News, which amalgamates and also puts in a nice comprehensive digest of various media outlets across the spectrum and breaks it down very eloquently, like I just did.
I love Ground News. I love the AI. I love the fact that the AI looked at it and got the exact same diagnosis that I got of the situation. I was going to bring the left leaning, I brought in the right leaning part. I was going to bring in the left leaning part as we discuss this, and I know what your data points are going to be. AI just broke them down for you the same way as I did. So this is a victory for you as a MAGA. Why do you feel that this is good news that they can now keep undocumented immigrants without bond? Why are you happy about that?
I'm not happy or sad. I'm actually very ambivalent to this whole situation. My thing is this, like I've been saying, President Trump's predecessors, meaning Obama, Bush, Clinton, when it came to immigration, it wasn't under such heavy scrutiny. So why now? So me, I always encourage everybody when it comes to anything with immigrants, ICE, or deportations, always just look the other way because the media is going to try to ram it down your eyeballs. So you don't want to see how sausage is made. We voted for this, but the media is not going to tell you the converse negative side of all the people being killed by migrants, raped, set on fire, and all the other illegal activities that's hurting people, black economics, and beyond. So that's my thoughts.
I see. And now I'm going to balance that with data points and statistics, numbers, math, the boring stuff.
That's my opinion.
Your opinion doesn't encompass the fact that only 9% of all arrested immigrants are criminals. Only 2% are violent offenders.
Where he
So
said
that
migrants that came to this country illegally, therefore they already broke the law. So
so
technically,
let's
we're
discuss
all
coming into
under
the
one
country.
umbrella.
Let's discuss coming into the country illegal. So if you have a visa and you enter the country and your visa expires while you're trying to get citizenship, you did not enter the country illegally. A vast majority of people arrested are not crossing the border illegally. They're here on expired visas and so forth. They're not, these are the statistical facts. Why don't you go to ground news and take a gander?
Okay, let's see.
So these people are being arrested, not having ever committed a crime, jailed in these horrific detention centers, which have been compared to concentration camps, until they could be kicked out of the country in the most heinous of ways. Jailed, like going to jail and never having done nothing wrong, but your visa expiring, or while you're waiting, while you're literally in court, like they're running up on courts, getting people that are doing all the right things. If they're in court doing all the right things, they're not here illegally. That's just what it is. They're literally taking people from the courts doing the right things. That
Well,
makes your argument moot, doesn't it?
well, the thing about Grand News is it looks for articles, but we're going to trust Google AI here, which is completely telling us how many people cross the border illegally. So these are the encounters nationwide. Over 10.8 million people came over here illegally from 2021 to 2024. And here are the specifics. So if you ask me, there are over 10 million people in this country illegally, which means they broke the
How
law.
many of those people were the ones ICE arrested? How many people did ICE arrest that actually crossed the border illegally? Those are the numbers these are the correct data points to try and extrapolate information from. You're giving me random numbers. ICE
No random
arrested
numbers.
people. There's 10 million people here that don't belong here. Okay. How many
No, that's not
people
a big
did,
deal, right?
that's not the question. Okay. How many
Here we
immigrants
go. This
did
is called the
ICE
spin, family. Ready to spin?
arrest?
Don't get dizzy.
No, I'm sorry to spin. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I apologize, everybody. I'm going to use math, and I know coming from the MAGA side, I know that this is a problem because now you got to use your fingers and toes. And Dion can count, but he's counting on you not to be able to. How many immigrants did ICE arrest that were actually that crossed the border illegally? How about that? Total removals was 278,000 non-citizens, 271,000 non-citizens. Border related, of those 271,000, 235,000 were individuals first encountered by CBP at the border. Okay. So 270, so a quarter of a million arrests. And they say half of them had criminal histories. 81,000 involved with non-citizens with criminal 81,000. That's out of 200,000 involved non-citizens with criminal convictions or pending charges. Most of the individuals removed by ICE in 24 had crossed the U.S. border illegally.
Well, isn't
Okay,
that
so
something? That AI must be lying.
271,000, right? Okay.
That's not even a
207.
scratch of the 10 million family, mind you.
Okay. And with no further ado, let's take a look at this. Less than 14% of those arrested by ICE in Trump's first year. Okay. Back in office and violent crime. So less than 14% were illegal. Let's see. Immigration and Customs Enforcement held 70,000 ICE detention according to data. Removal operation status. The following dashboards present for oh no, this is not, AI did not give me an answer. It did not AI me. Now report details ICE is expanding an increasingly unaccountable detention system. So not only are they arresting non-violent criminals, not the worst of the worst, because you moved the goalposts. Trump was elected to get rid of the worst of the worst, not people that came into the country illegal. That's what he was elected for. Am I incorrect?
You are incorrect. We wanted the border closed. And he took care of that right away with an executive order.
All
So that
right.
was the first to
Okay.
do.
Great
Prevent
job.
people from coming in here. And then number two, deport all the people that came in here illegally.
That's not what he
But
was doing. He
that's
said the worst of the
ongoing.
worst. He said the worst of the worst. Teachers, I don't think that people expected teachers to be deported. I don't think people expected mothers to be torn away from their children. I don't think that they expected 5-year-olds to be. I don't think that people voted, the vast majority of Americans. I mean, MAGA, you got some of your hardcore, they don't care as long as they're not white Christians. The vast majority of people did not vote for what we're seeing. They voted to get rid of the worst of the worst. If he had been getting rid of criminals, I think he would have had support. I think the reason he doesn't have support is because the vast majority of people he's getting rid of have never committed a crime. They cross the
Well,
border illegally, you say, well, that's a crime. It's not a violent offender, which is what people are looking
okay,
for.
Don Lemon, you're going to be going to jail too soon. You'll see.
I do not think so. But
Oh, brush it off.
that might happen to, if it happens to me, it can happen to you too. You're on this show.
I'm just alluding to Don Lemon and what he did in Minneapolis and how he actually, violated the church's rights by helping coordinate an
That
effort to
is
go after the
not what he
church.
got.
Well,
He did
stay tuned
not.
for Don Lemon.
He was outside of the church, therefore that is not true. And now that ICE is opening up concentration camps all over the country, they're buying thousands. I want to get the number correct. I think it's tens of thousands.
Is it
Well, I don't
right?
have the number. They're buying warehouses all across the country to increase the number of detentions that they could do. Places like Alligator Island or Alligator Alcatraz opened up to great fanfare from the horrific right people who thought it was great to surround people with alligators. People are not getting fed, people are not getting water, they're drinking toilet water, and the MAGA celebrates.
Well, I'm glad
Because
you
these
brought
people
this
came into
one.
the country illegally, what about the ones who have not come into the country illegally? What about the citizens that's being arrested?
Well, sometimes
What about
people
the
think
citizens being shot in the face?
well, we can't get into that right now because you're switching to warehouses. You want to talk about the warehouses? Because I could go into that. Oh, you that's another thing.
So when we look at this objectively, the reporting about the detention centers that have been created and utilized thus far, all of the reporting is not a positive report amongst them, or the conditions are horrific. Officials that want to scout these facilities, I'm talking about the people that have the legal right to, have been denied access in order for these reports to not be able to be confirmed. And I've used too many negatives. Let me make that clearer. Officials have been denied access so that they cannot confirm if these facilities are as bad as they say. The question from a critical thinking perspective is, what you got to hide? Why you not letting us look? If you did nothing wrong, why can't we look? Why can't we see? Hey everybody, this is your boy Leo. You know me. I've been doing commercials for 15 years, television commercials, radio ads, billboards. Now I'm trying to step it into the big leagues. I want to be an independent filmmaker. I've got the degrees, I've got the experience, and I need your help to make my first independent film, Garot. So Garot is Boys in the Hood meets Clue. So these dudes from Brooklyn is trying to buy their drugs to supply the hood. So they go to the mafia stronghold and they purchase their drugs, but one of them turns up dead. And now there's a race to find out who did it. The Godfather's going to send in his hit squad, Squadra Assassina, to take them out. They don't figure out who did it because somebody died on his turf and he's not happy and he can't have stuff like that happening in his business. So please, if you want to show support, my Kickstarter campaign is down in the description box. So, with that being said, the fact that they're trying to create more detention centers with horrific conditions where most of the people that are going there are not even criminals. And Mac will be like, oh, well, they crossed the border. So they because they crossed the border illegally, now you want to keep them in less than human conditions. And
Like
this is
Obama
okay.
built the cages, Joe. Who built the cages, Joe? Remember that one? There's over 10 million people in this country illegally, and you need places to process them throughout the country. And that's what I see here.
And what I see is, if that's the case, keep them in human conditions, and ICE should not be attacking people on the streets. ICE needs to be defunded, but that's for another segment. ICE doesn't need to be defunded. I will get to that in another segment. But that's it for today. Any closing statements?
This is why we are the media, and now so are you. So make sure this algorithm pays attention to all of us by sharing this content and adding your own. So that way, the AI can give us nice, comprehensive breakdown of all of our thoughts and opinions that are going to take down the mainstream media.
This is Leon Dion, signing out.